Homophobic mother-in-law tries her best to separate her son with her husband, but you will absolutely not believe the lengths that she goes to for this. I'm gonna tell you right now, murder is not off the books. Guys, this one's crazy. My husband and me, we're a gay couple. It's probably not that common to see gay people in this sub, but I've a mother-in-law too, and the relationship with her is so stained that I cannot help but talk about it. I'd also like to apologize for my English, as it's not my first language, though there might be some mistakes. We're married for 2 years. When we met, my husband was heavily depressed because of mother-in-law's constant pressure to find a girl, marry, and make a family as soon as possible. She did not care that he's very young. She did not care that he wanted to get an education first. Her only concern was, you've a job, and now you must have a family. Nothing else matters. Just find a girl, marry, and have babies. My husband and me, well, we've an age gap of 11 years. He's 22 and I'm 33, but when we met, he was 20 and I was 31. That's why we kind of started as friends, because I was unsure whether something more was possible due to our age difference. However, as the time went by, we realized that we're falling in love. There's nothing we can do about it, and honestly, that age gap has never been a problem for us. We dated in secrecy for 2 years. He was staying at my place often, which led mother-in-law to think that he has found himself a bride. My husband was like, "Yes, Mom, I found someone I love." And mother-in-law said, "Well, great, then bring her over so I can judge whether she's the right choice." Even if he was straight, that's a messed up thing to say, as she's obviously meant that he can only marry her if mother-in-law approves of it. Then my husband told me that he was tired of hiding, that he wanted us to marry, and he would come out to mother-in-law. I was happy to hear it, because I was getting tired of hiding it too. We're married the same way we dated, in secrecy. We only had a handful of good friends there with us, and the next day my husband and me, we both went to visit his mother to tell her the truth. Even though my husband warned me beforehand that it might get ugly, I was still hoping that his mother would support her son, as it's her only child after all. Fast forward to meeting mother-in-law, it did get ugly, more ugly than I could ever imagine. First, she thought we were joking, and when she realized we're not, she got livid. I've heard many homophobic things in my life, but I had never met a person that would be more homophobic than she was. "You've got HIV, don't ya? Oh no, you're just a crap pusher. There's no such abnormalities in our family. Where the hell'd you get it from? 2 men cannot be a couple. That's bullcrap. You need to see a psychiatrist." All these arguments over many more made me feel as if we're still living in the Middle Ages. She slapped my husband several times. When I pushed him behind me to defend him, she slapped me as well. She cursed me and cursed her son, telling him that he's not her son anymore and won't be until he refuses this lewd lifestyle, and yelled at us to get out of her house, which we gladly did. First, we thought about going to the police to report mother-in-law for assaulting us, but then we realized that we cannot prove it. No witnesses, no cameras, nothing. My husband was very upset because I come from a big family. I've got 3 brothers, 2 sisters, aunts and uncles, and a bunch of cousins. He doesn't. He doesn't have a father, he doesn't have siblings, and his mother's basically his only relative. Of course, now he's a part of my family. But still, hearing your own mother saying such things to you has to be really hurtful. A few days passed, and then my husband received a call from mother-in-law. It seemed that she calmed down a bit and was able to talk to him in a civilized manner. She would visit him at his job, but my husband was wrong when he thought that she was going to accept us. Once again, she tried to convince him that it's all nonsense, that our feelings aren't real, and that she's found a good doctor who could cure him from this. Of course, my husband refused to see any doctor because homosexuality is not a disease, and no medically educated doctor would say a cure is necessary. And then she asked my husband what I'm doing for a living, what's my profession, and he told her that I'm a firefighter. Suddenly, she seemed a lot happier and she was like, "Oh, then it's not so bad after all. My husband asked her why. Why would my job change your thoughts about me? And she was like, well, it's a dangerous job. Firefighters often have many accidents. Maybe he'll burn up one day. Like, how evil do you have to be to wish that on another person? Obviously, she hates me the most because I'm the eldest, and she believes that I've messed up her son. I've got to talk to her when she arrived at her house. Unfortunately, she knows where we live now, because she followed my husband home one day, which is another twisted thing. She told me to leave her son alone forever. He's not gay, that this is all my doing, and that she'll do everything in her power to separate us. Well, I advised her to educate herself about homosexuality, as she's clearly very ignorant, and I could not convince her that I'm not after a quick fling with her son. I love him, and want to spend the rest of my life with him. I told her that 2 years ago she had led her son to depression with her bugging him about girls and not letting him live his own life. This one she said this, I was just making sure he doesn't forget that he has some obligations in this life. Yeah, WTF? Since when is marriage an obligation? I also reminded her that she wished me dead. I haven't forgotten it, and she was like, quote, you deserve more than death, you pedophile. I honestly don't know how and why that came across because my husband has never been underage. Last night, she tried to break into our home. I don't know why, but it was obviously her. In the middle of the night, we were awoken by our dogs barking and someone banging at our front door. Someone was jerking on the doorknob for a good while. We did not answer the door, of course, but my first thought was that mother-in-law was here. When the morning came and we were leaving for work, the first thing I saw when I opened the door were many notes taped to it. They were all typed on the computer, and they all had the same content. Horrible things to me. There was my name and things like, die. I'm waiting for your death, you old freak. You pedophile. Well, my husband saw these notes too, and we're both sure that it was mother-in-law, because no one else would do it to us. We talked to a police officer who's a friend of ours, and he said that we should have saved these notes, but actually, the police could not do anything because she hasn't actually physically attacked us. As long as those are just words, they can't do anything to her. Even when we told him that she hit us when we met her for the first time, he said that the main thing is proof, and if we don't have proof, the police can't do anything. We're actually thinking about moving because we don't feel safe anymore. We don't know what else could come to her mind. It's so very sad that we live in a country that's supposed to be safe for gay people, and still there are some individuals that don't realize it's the 21st century, and that people are just different. Guys, Mr. Reddito here. When I tell you there's an update for this story, oh boy, that's an understatement. You will not believe what mother-in-law does next. Just when we thought that was it, everything was starting to cool down and mother-in-law was basically going no contact. She pulls a stunt that you never saw coming. Guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you like these sort of stories, because every single day, you can find me here reading them. Here's your update. I'm posting for the second time now, because, well, I didn't see this coming. We made a big mistake when we did not take mother-in-law's threat seriously enough. We thought that she's like a dog that barks but doesn't bite. Speaking of dogs, the only hero in this story is actually our dog. Heavens bless him. It happened at night. My husband and me were heavy sleepers and were dreaming sweet dreams and did not notice anything. If our dog had not jumped on our bed and barked, waking us up, we'd probably be both dead by now. I'm a firefighter myself, and I realized that the fire was too big already. We could not put it out by ourselves. We escaped through the window, fortunately unharmed. Somebody had called the firefighters who happened to be my colleagues, which was a weird situation. It was the first time they had to work on their buddy's house. Well, they tried to work as fast and as efficiently as possible, but our house is damaged beyond repair and we can't live there anymore. Mother-in-law got caught. Basically dug her own grave because she herself said that she was hoping till the last minute that her son would come to his senses, break up with me, and start to date women. But he never did. And she felt ashamed that she's created such a deformed human being. So she decided that it's better to have no son than a gay son. She basically said she wanted to kill him. So even though at first what happened was classified as, quote, arson with intent to damage property, which would mean softer sentence, after those words it became arson with intent to endanger life. Oh, that means so much more severe punishment, even up to life, behind bars. Our lawyers said the most likely is that she'll not receive maximum sentence because no one died, but she will receive at least a couple years behind the slammer. And there's not much her lawyer can do to help because she confessed. As she said such a stupid thing, well, but my son's freaking husband's a firefighter. Why didn't he save his house? In the middle of the night, just awoken, no gear, no tools, no equipment, caught completely unaware by the fire. Are you serious, mother-in-law? You think that just because I'm a firefighter means I can put the fire out with my bare hands? Many people think that the house fire is likely they see in movies. Flames, a light bulb. But actually it's a complete darkness. The smoke makes a room so dark within minutes that you can't even see your own hands. House fires is always like a dark night. Now we're living with our friends while we find another place to live. Our clothing, our documents, passport, marriage certificate, everything is gone amongst the blaze. But of course, those are just things that we can buy and replace. We're alive. That's the most important thing yet. So, my husband's done with her. He's so very upset that his own mother wished him dead just because he's gay. If before this he still hoped that their relationship could be fixed, now he doesn't want to hear a single word about her anymore. Her homophobic hate almost killed us. And it's our own fault as well, because we did not give her actions and words the seriousness they deserved. We know some gay people who also have homophobic parents, but they've never tried actually killing their children. I guess that's why we did not think it could happen to us. Okay, so this story was absurd, absolutely crazy. There was a similar situation in the comment section. Let's read it. Oh my goodness. And this is why I never came out to my parents. My dad has told me several times before how he'd kill gay people if it was legal, and that he used to beat up gay people for listening to Journey when he was in school. That's when comment 2 says, oh my gosh, this is so awful, I'm sorry. I don't even understand his logic in general, but that last bit. Since when does listening to Journey make you gay? My straightest family members do drunk sing-alongs to Don't Stop Believin', literally every chance they get. Okay guys, so let me know what you think about that. If you have any experiences you would like to share about this topic, drop them in the comment section and let me know your wild stories. The final story we're going to look at today is titled, Am I the A-hole for abandoning my mother in Colombia? I'm 43 female and was born in Colombia, but my family moved to British Columbia when I was 4. I'm Canadian. I do not have a Colombian citizenship and I don't really want it. I love visiting the country, but my life is in Canada. I'm down here right now for a family wedding. I traveled down with my mother, who's 75, because she thinks she's getting old. She has no problems going on vacations in Europe or Asia by herself, but she always tries to drag myself, one of my siblings, or my father down here. It's a beautiful country and the people are friendly and kind, but she always tries to make us stay with family, which would be fine as many of our relatives have large homes and apartments with spare guest rooms. But she never picks those. She always wants to stay with the girl who just had her 6th baby and is only 25. That's an exaggeration, but not by much. Or with her uncle, who literally lives in a house with dirt floors. Once again, nothing wrong with that, but I don't really enjoy the experience. So this time, I got myself an Airbnb in a really nice part of the city without telling her. When we arrived, one of my cousins on my dad's side picked us up and gave us a ride there. It's spacious and lovely. We unloaded all our luggage at the apartment, and we spent the day strolling, shopping, and stopping for food whenever we felt like it. No pressure from anyone. When we got back to the apartment, she started giving me crap for making her stay so far away from her family. I told her no one's forcing her to stay with me, and she was welcome to call someone to take her wherever she had arranged to stay. So she called her sister, who came to get her. They kicked a grandchild out of a room, and that's where she's staying, with 8 people in a 4-bedroom apartment. I saw her at the wedding, and she's mad now that I'm staying in a luxury place while she isn't. I did rent a 2-bedroom in case she wanted to, but she said she did not want to. Her family is also giving me crap and says I abandoned her. So guys, what I need to know, am I the a-hole? Okay, so most of the people in the story are saying not the a-hole in the comment section. Let's read a couple. Not the a-hole. You handled that very well. Stop traveling with your mom. She sounds tedious. And here's comment 2, which says, well, the thing is, it's not really a manipulative mom. It's just cultural differences. In Latin America, people enjoy being around family. It's a huge part of the culture. It's not that your mom wants you to be uncomfortable. She wants you to bond with family. In some places, it's even rude to say no when someone offers you either something they cooked or some place to stay. Come on, just have a bite of what they're offering. I've traveled with my mom to her birthplace in Mexico. I don't instantly fit in. I'm not used to the humidity or the mosquitoes in the summer. I honestly don't think I could live there, but I take it for what it is, a place that's very close to her heart. I try to bond with the family, and I try to enjoy the moment. Guys, I think that's great advice. In this case, I do believe it's just a cultural difference, and the mother's just trying to get her to experience maybe what she experienced growing up and hanging out with the family. Guys, let me know your past experiences with whatever culture of family you've been a part of. Drop your experiences down below and let's talk about it. Thank you so much for joining me in this video today, guys. I want to appreciate every one of you, so thank you for that. Don't forget to subscribe if you do want to see more videos, and I'll see you in the next one.